So till now, the topics that is covered is basically you understand, you have experienced all the topics in some form or the other. Like if I say looping and operators, then types of operators, then if test jump condition, if else nested if else ladder, most of the topics that is in the beginning part of the OOP object oriented series is almost you are familiar with it. The topic that newly you have learned is about the public, private and protected data member. You have also learned newly you have learned about these three topics. Then you have learned a new keyword called abstraction. What is abstraction? Then you have learned what is encapsulation. Then you have learned about polymorphism. Then you have learned overloading. If you have not learned, then at least you have heard of these words in OOP class. Actually, these are the few keywords. These keywords in the sense not in terms of programming language keyword, but in terms of subject keyword, that this particular highlight, let us say this particular highlight separates OOP from the C syntax. Firstly, this is the public access modifier, private access modifier and protected access modifier, and then overloading, polymorphism, dynamic binding. These are some of the highlights of the object oriented programming. As far as object oriented programming is concerned, this abstraction and dynamic binding is the most important. Abstraction means when we restrict the data to be accessed outside the current class, it is called abstraction. There are many ways of doing the abstraction: public, protected, private. Some of the ways of doing the abstraction. And encapsulation is putting data and function together. That is also possible only in object oriented programming. Other data structure, other class also the same. If you think of Python or C++, they also have the same class way of writing the program. Whereas in C you cannot put function and data same under the same block. That means function and this function particularly are written for those data. So that is what makes the object oriented programming little different from the C and structured programming. And you have to means if you have forgotten or you are till now you are not clear with the concept, this is the basic concept. So means if you want to remember how to differentiate between so many languages are there. So C you don't need to refresh. So and C++ also means you not required because it is not in the syllabus. So object oriented programming means you are learning Java. So how is it different? Means you have to think about these four highlight words like abstraction, encapsulation, dynamic binding, polymorphism, public, private member, public data member, private data member, protected data member. These three kind of data member together make the concept of abstraction. That means the chapter of abstraction together makes these three things you will learn in the abstraction chapter. Also in some books you will see it is written as data hiding. So these are the three things that is required, and that will be your chapter number 4 or 5 if you buy any book on Java. And in the beginning chapter you will learn about encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? The putting data and function together in one unit is called encapsulation. So when you buy any book, so basically you will learn about this encapsulation concept. That means how to put data and function together. How to put means using the class keyword. There is no other way of putting it. So you have, if you have to create an array, you have to have a particular syntax. Similarly, if you have to create a class, what is a class? So OOP, without class you cannot do it. So OOP, you have to put data and function together. That is, so encapsulation is the first highlight word you have to understand. Then you go to abstraction, data hide or abstraction or data hiding, and thirdly, the third important highlight word that you have to understand is polymorphism. That is very important. Polymorphism means existence of many different forms of the same thing. That is the third highlight word that separate the class from the rest of the structured programming. Class means in the sense object oriented programming from the rest of the structured programming, like C or basic, like that. So what is this polymorphism or overloading? Actually your AICT syllabus, if you have seen the AICT syllabus, I don't think you have seen the syllabus. So in your AICT e-syllabus there is only a brief. If you have seen the syllabus, I don't know whether you have seen the syllabus or not. Only the topics is given, means that what I have to teach, it has been left to the faculty. That is a little bit confusing here in this part. So what I have to teach means it is not mentioned that chapter number 1 is going to be on this, chapter number 2 is going to be on this, chapter number 3 is going to be on this topic in the OOP syllabus. Okay, let me just show you the syllabus. So if you have so that's why to design the syllabus, if it was given a syllabus from the beginning, it would have been easy for me also. So that's why I'm if you have any confusion regarding any part, you ask me, because I may forget to include something. Okay, so suppose some topic is there which is required, and because I have to follow the AICT syllabus, so it may skip. So if you don't understand anything, it may be a small semicolon also. That's why is this semicolon put here, or why is a comma put here, or why is a data type put here. If you ask, then only some new topic is maybe missing, that I will recall. If not, then it will remain there only, because one very important concept of this overloading important concept is there for this, but it is not written particularly in the syllabus. It is not written that overloading has to be taught. Okay, it is not written, it is not mentioned by the AICT. Means only for the OOP syllabus it is like that. Okay, let us see. This is the OOP. So PCCS 503. So like here you see, this is one syllabus. Here data structure and algorithm, it is clearly mentioned that what every chapter should contain. Okay, so it is nice, but as far as OOP is concerned, it is means very badly it is written. And so wait, I will see here also in operating. Okay, operating system also nicely it is written. Also, just 1 minute. Okay, flat also, if you see flat also, just everything is put into one chapter. Can you see? This is the syllabus of flat formal language, automata theory, and only one module is there. After that, suggested books and reference. So see how the syllabus. So it is not a good way of writing the. I don't know how faculty will teach. So OOP also you can see here. See no mention of chapter wise. No mention of the chapter. Only the topics is given. Abstract data type and features of object, encapsulation, object identity, polymorphism, but not inheritance. Inheritance is not to be taught to you now, but inheritance is so important. Then again inheritance in OO design patterns, model view, commands. So syllabus is written in such a way that memory management, generic types in so syllabus is not written so in such a way. If you write memory management, that means it is quite confusing how to do it. Now it is a practical memory management. If you do, that means it is related to something like pass by reference and those concepts, but what exactly in pass by reference you have to learn or I have to teach, that is not clearly mentioned here. So that's why students, if you have any confusion that sir I have not understood this particular memory or what is exactly a reference, I have not understood, or even if you have understood, you have some idea like sir I want to convert a table into hard drive, I want to copy and paste a table into hard drive, how to do that? A array, I want to save a array into the hard disk, how to do that? So these things are possible, but if the syllabus was mentioned, then it would have been easy. But now it is, everything is up to the teacher what to do. Means it has been left up to now. That's why so any doubt if you have, you should always ask. Okay, now coming back to the syllabus, coming back to our lesson. So polymorphy. So we have discussed encapsulation, putting data and function together. That is what a class means. Then data abstraction or data hiding. Data hiding means putting the data as a private, protected or public. Okay, so when we do public means without by using simply a dot operator, you can access that particular data. What is a dot operator? When we write a class, first we have to create object of that class, and that object name when we write, then the member of the class for which the object is created, you have to use a dot before going inside the object and access the member. Again, what is the object? It is a variable that the class I can give. Why a class variable? Because class is a data type. It is a user defined data type. It is a collection of different data type. Our basic data types are integer, character, float, and derived data types are array, string, like that. So the user can create his own collection of data. Like if I am a student, so if I am a programmer and I want to design a student database, then to register a new student into the university, the student data type, it cannot be one single string name of the, it should be his roll number also, that will be a long data type. It will be his phone number also, that will be a long data type. It will be his email address also, that will be a string. And then it will be so all are different types of data. And then it may be his high secondary marks percentage, then again a float value. So everything. So what array cannot support multiple data types. Array support only homogeneous data type. So user creates his own collection. So that's why class is also called a user defined data type. So when you have a data type, you can create a variable of that data type, so that you can put value in that variable. So when we talk about class, we call object of the class, we not call variable of the class. It is called object of the class. because it is a collection of different field, different values, not only one variable. It's a collection of many different complex components, so it is said as an object. And class, it contains functions also inside it. So once a class contains the function and data, it becomes an encapsulation. And the object, once you create the object, if the data is declared public inside the class, then by writing the dot operator you can access the public member. And other advantages of class is the inheritance. That means once a class is written, then without writing it again, I am able to access the features of the class. One way of accessing the feature is by dot operator. So, or by dot operator, individually whatever I want I can select, and I can use it. But suppose everything I want, whatever the class contains, everything I want, so better what to do, to the inheritance. Then when I do the inheritance, if I do the dot operator, then the variable officially it belongs to the parent class only. So I am only accessing with the dot operator. So officially it is in the parent class. It is not till now not a member of the new class you are going to write. But if you are interested that particular character or that particular function, that particular behavior of the class should be written for my class also, that this particular programming should be written for my class also, separate, means I want that program for my, then what to do? If you do the dot operator, then that behavior will be there in that class. But if you want to bring that program to your class, then inheritance. And when I do inheritance, if the parent class data is declared as a private, that does not come to the inheritance. That is data hiding. It will not allow to access even after inheritance. If there is a public, without inheritance also, or with inheritance. Without inheritance, how to access public member? By the dot operator. You create the object of the parent class, write dot operator. If you want to inherit, then if it should be a protected or public. What is the protected? Protected means you can not do the object dot operator, only inheritance. Only inheritance. Private operator, what is the private data member? No inheritance allowed, no dot operator is also allowed. You can, if any private data in the class, you create the object, then if you try to access by writing object and then dot and the variable, suppose x, and x is declared as private in the parent class, that will error will be given to you. If it is a public, then you can. If it is a protected, then only inheritance only you can. You cannot, a compiler will not allow to access by dot operator. Direct access is no. So it is like a partially private and partially public. It is in between. This is called a protected member. Okay, so then we have the polymorphism. Now polymorphism, what is the polymorphism? Polymorphism is the existence of the same thing in different forms. Same function may exist in different forms. Polymorphism. How different forms can be created? The function name can remain the same. What we can change? The number of formal arguments or the type of formal arguments. The same function can have two different way of writing. Suppose there is a function called sum, addition of two numbers. One time it may be integer comma integer, one time it can be float comma float. So two separate function, no need to give two separate name. You can give the same name to both the function, okay, but provided that you cannot repeat the data type exactly. If you have written two integer in the first function and the name of the function you have given sum, then second time when you write the sum again, then at least one of the two that you have declared as integer should be new. it should be not new, means new means it should be a different data type. It should be a different data. It should be either float or both. You can give as float, or one you can give as float, one you can give as double, one you can give as integer, one you can give as float. Any one you must have to change. Then if both you want to keep as integer, the first function you have declared both integer a, integer b, name of the function you have given as sum. Second function again name you have given sum, and variable name you have given integer comma integer. Then the third way of differentiating return type. One return type you can give integer, one return type you must give void, void, void. Why to give void? So that two of the function they become separate, distinguishing. You can distinguish that this particular function is separate from this function. Then only it is called polymorphism, means separate form. If you give everything is the same, that means it is not coinciding with the idea of existence of the different form of the same thing. If you write everything same and same, then it is not the way of the polymorphism. It is not the definition of polymorphism. So the same function, different return type, if you have different argument type, then only it exists as the polymorphism. Okay, so today we will see about something called Java generic data types. Java generic data types. So tomorrow we have a lab class. So tomorrow I will discuss an important topic of constructor. So that topic is very important in Java. Or any object-oriented programming. Without constructor, a class cannot be object cannot be created. Object with, if you class have a constructor that is badly written, or has that constructor concept is not there in the class, your object-oriented programming will not be possible. So this particular constructor concept is derived is derived from the polymorphism chapter. So we will now, since we have cleared about polymorphism, so the constructor concept we will discuss, that what exactly is the this constructor. So in practical we will discuss, then it will be, we will understand easily. So all the basic rest of the Java is same with C++. The there is a for loop, there is a if else statement, and then there is while statement, and there is integer data type, float data type. In Java, string is a data type, and array is same way of writing as writing C. So the new topic that you will going to see here is the Java generic data type. Now what is it? Generic data type. So generic data type, generic data type is possible by the template. If you have heard of the word template, so what is a template? A template is a blueprint. You can say template is a blueprint. Mark sheets have a template. Mark sheet has a template. So template means then all the semester, all the department have the same format, only the content is different. Means the name of the subject will be different, name of the student will be different, but like that. So certificate, when you attend a program you get a certificate. So the place where your name has to be written, that is left blank, and remaining everything is there from before. Logo of the event, and this detail about the event, the date when the event was held, that is called a template. That is an example of a template where you fit your own requirement. And you can buy also certificate, you can buy from the market, ready-made certificates. So you can fill your whatever event, if you have means if your event name and name, so that is a template. So similarly, there is a requirement in Java for a data structure or a framework that support this kind of template. This kind of template means there is a need where user don't have to create separate classes for doing the same things. For doing this, like suppose there is a list of data items, and you have to write a sort program. Suppose you have to write a program to do sorting. Okay, suppose you have to do a program to do sorting. So when you have to write a general program to do sorting, so when we do the sorting program, then we take the integer as a variable, we take all the number as integer, and suppose you cannot put any limitation. Your task is to write the sorting program. So you write the sorting program, so you don't have the, you should not actually, as a suppose you should not, or you should not have the privilege to declare on what data type you are going to write the program. So your program can accept any data type. So your program, when you write the sorting program, not a sorting program, suppose say search program also, sorting program also, binary tree traversal also, whatever you can take. So that particular data that you are going to take, we write that let us take a array integer, let us take a float integer, let us take a string integer, let us take a character integer, let us take a long integer. How many different array you will take for the same sort? So your sorting program is not different, it is the same program. But if you have to write the program for all the data type that is possible, are you able to do it? Will you be able to do it? You will able to do it, but that is not a good efficient practice. That is not a, it will not be a good time or effort. From the effort and time point of view, it is not a good programming practice. So object oriented programming provides a data type called generic data type. So this generic data type has no mention that the data type is an integer or character or float or string. It is not mentioned from before. So it is not mentioned from before. So without mentioning the data type for an array that you want to sort, in the place of the data type, if we put a less than and greater than symbol like this, this becomes a generic data type symbol. Like for pointer we have a symbol, star is a symbol for pointer. Similarly, if you want to create a generic data type, suppose you want to create an array, but that array should be generic data type. It should not be specifically for integer, should not be specifically for float, but any data type, that it can be any user defined class also. So when you have so many possibility, then we use this concept of generic data type, where the data type that we want to mention, we write it with inside this less than and greater than symbol. Write this inside this less than and greater than symbol. And what? So inside the less than and greater than symbol, what we write? We write the variable, name of the variable that becomes, suppose here you see, here the example is written E. Can you see here? Less than and greater than symbol is written. So what is the syntax of this, that we'll discuss later, but this particular E, can you see, it is written inside less than and greater than. So this E is a data type. So this E is a data type, it is written inside the less than and greater than. So when we write something inside less than and greater than symbol, in Java or mostly in object-oriented programming. This facility is there in C++, also in Python, also in Java also. It is called generic data type. Now the meaning of E is nothing but it is a variable. You can write here your own choice and preference of variable name, and this particular variable name becomes the data type. Okay, your program will be compiled by thinking that E is a data type. Your program will be compiled by thinking that E is a data type. So when we want to sort, so compiler does not care about whether your logic is correct or not, or whether your program is correct or not. It only require that this particular program is written correctly, means the syntax is correct. How to use this variable E or what will be going to be the future purpose of this E is not a concern. So the syntax should be correct, and once this particular syntax is correct, then this particular E that is written here, it will be created when you create the object of the class. Or when you call this particular function. For example, here, so this particular E here, initially it will not be, initially it will just be a variable. Okay, so you listen to me, don't need to look into this program now. So firstly you should know how to declare a generic data type. That is, writing syntax is less than symbol, a greater than symbol, and inside the name of the data type. So here we are not writing any basic you cannot write a basic data type, you cannot write integer inside it, because because generic data type means it is a variable data type. If you write integer, then why use a generic data type? If you want to sort a integer array, then write an integer array int. But if you want to write any algorithm that should fit any kind of a data type, then that particular data type is called a generic data type. So which the definition of the generic data type, it cannot be defined from before that it is going to be integer or float or character. It can only be defined later stage, when actually you will use that particular class, or when actually someone is going to use the sorting program. So definitely at the time of the using the sorting program, at that time only it is required to mention that what is the generic data type, variable data type. So like when we have when we call a function, we give the formal argument, and that formal argument I give the value passed by value or passed by reference. Yes or no? So when I declare the function, when I write the function definition, so even if I don't write the function call, compiler does not give a error. Okay, are you following? If you can only write the function definition and you can leave the program, so it will not compiler will not give a error. So what is the formal argument? So formal argument means the value in the formal argument is coming to the function only when you make the call. When you make a call sum 5, 4, then only the 5 and 4 variable is given to the data in the function definition. That time, similarly, generic data type also, you give it a variable data type E, name of the variable is E, and wherever E appear inside the function, everywhere int will be substituted if you want to use int. If you want to use double, then all the place where E appear inside your function, all it will substitute by the your int float double. So it is like we have a variable, it is a variable data type. So it is a generic data type. Also you can tell as a variable that it can vary, but inside a program it cannot vary. You have to mention the data type before you invoke the function. Once you invoke the function generic function with an integer data type, the variable e inside the function you cannot change to character, you cannot change to string. If you want to make it string or character, then you invoke it again with a string or character. Okay, so inside the function data cannot means the generic data type cannot change. Before the function there is a particular syntax of how to write a generic function. Like a normal function we write, generic function also there is a particular syntax of doing it. So once you do it, everything will be handled by the compiler. Compiler will know that this particular function has a generic declaration, so automatically it will associate this integer to the generic. If you follow the proper syntax of writing the generic function call, at the function definition you can write it, and compiler will not give any error. So compiler will not ask you where e data type is not mentioned. Like compiler will not ask you whether when you write a function definition, compiler will not tell you that you have not written the function call, so I am giving error. Compiler is not doing that. So when you write the generic data type, that is when you follow this less than greater than symbol and you write the variable e. So e actually I intend e to make it data type, but compiler for time being, for at the moment, it will not ask that what is the value of this e, whether it's integer or float or double. So it will wait for you to write the function call. So at the time of the function call you must mention, like we mentioned the pass by value, pass by reference, then it gives. So at the time of function call you must mention this e. What is this e? Whether you want to make it an integer or want to make it an array, that is also possible. This whole except will become an array, or if you want to make it a new class, that is also possible. So any data type is possible. That is why it's called a generic, but that have to be mentioned. If it is a function, then at the time of function. If it is a class, then at the time of object creation. So there are some differences, many ways of doing the generic function. There is a way of writing generic class also. Like a generic function, there can be a generic class also. So a class that works purely on generic basis. We will see this next class. So basic thing is that generic data type, it is a variable data type, and there is a particular way of writing the generic function definition. Now inside the content here is not important. This particular display array element that you can see here, this particular section, display array element, and this thing is not important. Inside content is not important. Okay, inside content is not important. You can write a simple while loop also here, it is not a problem, but this first line, this is important. Public static less than greater than symbol e void print array, it's the name of the function, and e input array. So here something here is a keyword. Public is a keyword, static is a keyword, void is a keyword, something is user defined, like print array is the name of the function, input array is the name of the array, but the data type of the array is missing. Data type of the array is e. What is e? E is a generic data type. And what to do with the array, whether you want to do for loop, whether you want to do system.out.println, whether you want to do e minus, that is a different thing, that is possible from person to person. That is not important, but this first line is important. So how to make this e to be the integer, that is at the time of function call. So That is the one possibility. Okay, if you write the function call properly and follow the syntax, then that e variable will become integer if it is an integer, or it becomes the float if it is you want to make it the float. And yes, okay, class is over for today. So another example of a generic class. So first, let us not do hurry so much. This is an important topic. Next class we will discuss this first example only, then we will go to the second example, then there is another third example. Generic. Now what is the use of this generic data type? Java has this or not only means we require to make list of data item every time we are interested in making the list of data item, and as you know, Java does not have pointers. Means Java does not allow you to make pointers. There is no pointer concept in Java. So when you make a list, like you make linked list by writing pointer, you are using the actual pointer. You make link from one node to another node, like you make a linked list. So that concept cannot be applied in Java, because Java does not provide this idea of pointer. So when we make a list, that list can be have to be sometimes sorted, list have to be sometimes searched from first to last. So there is already written programs are there in Java, because Java handle the memory by itself, because pointer is not allowed. Why is a pointer not allowed? Because Java has a virtual machine system, so there is no actual pointer you will get. So it depends upon machine to machine. When you run a C program with a linked list, if you print the address of a variable, you get the actual memory address, F7EDF06A, like that you get the actual memory address, because C program is running on the Windows platform, but Java is using a virtual machine. So when if you want to print, if you make a linked list, based on a virtual machine, and once the virtual machine is shifted to the actual, suppose Windows platform, you are writing a program in the Linux, you have installed the Windows, means the Java Windows edition, and you have executed your program, you have seen that your program is running properly in the Windows, then you go and install your program in the Windows. Suppose you have written a pointer program. So imagine that you have tested the program for a virtual environment. So virtual address will be given to you, and what will happen if a user perform that pointer for, and that program is written exactly for the Windows platform. So the virtual address that is given, no guarantee that the address will match the actual platform. That is why pointer is avoided in Java, because so anything related to memory is, programs are already written in the Java, efficient programs are written in the Java. It means you cannot get the exact pointer address, but what with the pointer you want to do? Why you need a pointer? You want to make a list. Okay, so Java has a ready-made function to make a list. When we create a pointer, what is our intention to create a pointer? First thing you have to question, that you have to understand why we create an array, so that we have a continuous collection of memory. Okay. So secondly, why we need a pointer? Why we make a list? so that we can have a contiguous collection of, so that not heterogeneous, it can be anywhere in the memory. So if you want to do that, then Java has ready-made function to do that. Java does not allow you to manually do that, because then you have to handle the pointer address, you have to handle the memory, whether memory is really available in the system or not. So since Java has a virtual machine system, once you do testing, you can do such, but when you implement it in the real environment, the address that Java return you is only virtual address. It can be a 2-bit address also, it can be a 2-digit number also, because it is virtual, it is not there. But when you go and put the program into the system, so system has 8-digit address, a 16-digit address if it is 16-bit machine, 32-digit address. So how to convert your 2-digit address that Java gave you just for experimenting the virtual? So that is the problem. So if you want to make a linked list, Java has a function to make linked list. If you want to make a tree, Java has a ready-made function that allow you to make a tree. And there are something that common in all this data structure. We want to sort all the data, we want to search all the data. So since Java has given this ready-made function to make list, to make tree, to make table, Java has given all this function inside its system. And what you as a student